Principle 4, reality creation. You don't bend reality, you bend, and reality corresponds. As the plot continues, it's time for Neo to meet the Oracle. When he gets there, he sees children known as the Potentials using telekinesis to make objects float and bend spoons. Upon seeing the child bending the spoon, Neo asks him how he's able to do that. The boy responds with arguably the most profound piece of hidden wisdom in the entire movie.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
And 2 seconds later, Neo bends the spoon with his mind. What was just revealed to him in that moment is a critical piece for inner mastery, and it's so simple and precise that most people completely miss the point. And interestingly, the wisdom comes from a child. That is no coincidence. Children carry the purest frequency of God. The child is not impressive because of his accumulated knowledge. He is impressive because of his failure to accept limitation. The children in the Oracle's apartment are called potentials because they haven't been programmed by societal conditioning yet, and so their genius level of clarity has not been impeded. And really, mastery over your reality is about returning to that childlike state of fearlessness and imagination that was programmed out of you as you grew up. What the child is trying to say here in a practical sense is that believing harder won't magically bend objects. The real wisdom is understanding that the spoon is not what you think it is. You see, the ordinary mind looks at reality and says, there is me, there is the spoon. It thinks that in order to cause the spoon to bend, it needs to apply some kind of force or technique that creates the effect of a bent spoon. That's why it's impossible, because the underlying question is still stuck in the illusion that the spoon is a solid metal object with fixed properties, and until an outside force is applied, it cannot bend. When the boy says there is no spoon, he's not saying it doesn't exist. What he's actually saying is that the thing you call a spoon is not ultimately what it appears to be. And so the unawakened mind will be presented with this problem and ask, how do I bend the spoon? The awakened mind will ask, what part of me is still believing that the spoon is solid, separate, and unchangeable? That is the whole teaching. Neo is able to bend the spoon because his assumptions about what the spoon really is has changed. His conscious connection to reality changed first, and thus reality corresponded. That is how reality creation works at the deepest levels of awareness. The external shifts are the downstream effect of the internal shifts, not the other way around. And you can extrapolate this teaching to all matters of your life. Take money, for example. If you're struggling to make more money, you might think that you need more status, more followers, more credentials, more strategy, more skills, more proof before you're worthy of a high income. And while that may be relevant on the physical level, on a metaphysical level, all of those beliefs are spoons. They look real, they feel real. And so the underlying energy behind those beliefs are, I am not allowed to receive more until an external authority confirms that I am worthy. And so how do most people respond to those negative beliefs? They push harder, they strategize harder, they try to prove to themselves and to the world that they are worthy. What they don't realize is that believing harder doesn't bend the spoon. Shifting internally does. When you realize that you and the spoon are one, you speak with more confidence. You unapologetically charge premium prices for your products and services. You stop waiting for permission from others to claim what's yours, and you start assuming the identity of being rich now. And thus, high income becomes manifest in your reality. The internal identity shifts first, and physical reality corresponds as the downstream effect. The spoon bends. This truth is further reinforced when Neo meets the Oracle. When they meet, you were probably expecting the Oracle to tell him explicitly that he is the one. We all had that thought, I did too. But why did she say he's not the one? Because her response goes hand in hand with what the boy said about the spoon. The Oracle says, sorry kid, you got the gift, but it looks like you're waiting for something. Your next life maybe? Who knows? That's how these things go. The Oracle is not in the business of predicting the future per se. Her genius lies in understanding the psychology of choice and telling people exactly what they need to hear to become who they're meant to become. If Neo truly is the one, no one outside of him can give him permission to embody that identity, not even the Oracle. He is the only person that can give himself that permission. That's why she has the sign in her kitchen that reads, "Know thyself." She knows that by reflecting to him his deepest insecurity, the fear that he in fact isn't the one and everyone believes in a false prophecy, he can now relax out of the pressure of needing to fulfill this massive destiny and instead simply embrace the path of being the one, which, as we find out later in the movie, as his belief in himself continues to accelerate, he dies and resurrects. So really, the Oracle did predict the future. Neo had to experience death and rebirth in order to usher in the new reality of being the chosen one. Just as their initial meeting ends, the Oracle tells Neo to eat a cookie and he'll feel better. In a sense, she's telling him to let go of all importance and stop taking this whole chosen thing too seriously. And this is one of the most underrated manifestation teachings in the entire movie, because the moment that you stop white-knuckling the outcome is the moment that the outcome stops resisting you. You stop fighting with reality and let reality come to you. These scenes have tremendous implications for the creation of your own reality, because in order for you to embrace the authority to take control over your universe, you must first accept the truth that reality is not physical, and then reduce all importance around being your highest self. And finally, give yourself permission to be rich, confident, successful, etc. Insert whatever identity you wish to embody. At the intersection of a carefree attitude and a strong intention, miracles are manifest. And when you truly believe that your wildest manifestations are not only possible, but the inevitable experience of your reality, divine frequency comes online in you so that your reality takes form as your highest creation.